John's just retired from astronautics. He was one of the last men to make a moonwalk. John, are you all right, son? You're white as a sheet and you're trembling.
Nothing I can do. It's happening again. I'm changing.
And in several seconds, we see before us a man-wolf. It runs through the darkness as it hunts its quarry. And that quarry is man. The mark of the man-wolf. A man.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to the yep, careful work. The mighty gods of the Woodford Reserve. Wow, that was a very Steve Brule moment there. I know. Be careful, Stevie. That's strong.
It tastes like fruit.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This season, we're talking about Marvel's number 2 lycanthrope, John Jameson, a.k.a. the Moonrot Manwolf, O Lobo, the Furry Freak, Night Brute, Fangsnout, and most importantly, the Cosmic Star God. I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We have another exciting adventure in the annals of Amazing Spider-Man to cover. Is part of the John Jameson epic saga.
Yeah, saga. Let's say it's a 3-issue saga.
Yeah. We had a great time last time talking just about, those few pages and just kind of keeping it loose and talking about Jonah and John and comic stuff. And we appreciate you folks who chimed in and let us know how you felt about that kind of looser thing. We might just unclench a little bit and just kind of, this is me taking my shirt off. Can you hear this at all?
Yeah, that totally translates.
Getting really
translates to the audio format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to have a guest this week, but he was unavailable due to some work commitments. So it's just you and me. That's
okay. I am totally fine with that. We will get that particular guest, Ben, on next season.
Yes, definitely.
Can we talk and make an announcement about a previous guest?
Yeah.
Just because I'm excited.
Stuff is happening.
Yeah, stuff is happening. So, friend of the show and guest, Rebecca Cole.
Gates.
Not Rebecca Gates. Rebecca Cole has finally announced, she just posted it to her Instagram stories, that she's in Pavement. She's literally a member of Pavement now.
Yes. So if you are into alternative music at all, or were alive in the 90s, or Pavement's probably one of the most important indie rock bands of all time.
The most important.
In my opinion, yes. I'm very biased, but Pavement's one of my top 5 bands of all time. So it's like Beatles, Smiths, Pavement. So a friend of ours is in Pavement.
Is in Pavement.
I can't say that enough.
Yeah, a guest on our show is now in Pavement.
So do you want to talk about the WBN effect?
Well, it's this is kind of making it undeniable, right? Yeah. So if you come on the show, the exposure you get from the show will cause you to be in whatever your favorite indie band is.
Yeah.
So that's a guarantee, really. Yeah.
So hey, you Gary out there. Yeah. Yes, you will be in Neutral Milk Hotel, and you're welcome.
Oh, man. It's just so nice to say it because, Rebecca's one of my best friends. It's totally a brag. And I've known for, 10 months or something. Like both of us have known for a very long time that this is happening. And we just haven't been able to say anything.
Nope. Because we're pros.
We are pros. We're such fucking pros.
I've been pregnant for 10 years and you have said nothing. You've been stum.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of guy I am. We have a lot on this show that we can't say that we should really brag about, but we can't because we are pros, we are loyal, and our day will eventually come. And so this is one of those days where we're like, yeah, Rebecca's in Pavement. We get to talk about it now.
Yeah. I think the official title is Classy Fuckers.
Yeah, classy fuckers, we are.
Yeah. So we're winding down here on this season, though.
I know. A couple episodes left, really.
It feels really weird. So we just have a couple more issues here of the Spider-Man thing, and then some other realm business with David Kraft, which I'm super excited to get back to.
Oh,
and then just a couple Spider-Man annual stories, which probably just kind of like when you don't shake and squeeze your wiener after you pee, that to dribble down your leg. I don't know.
I think that's exactly what they are. I think that's what the Grand Comics database describes them as. So, yeah.
Yeah. We're leaving John James. He sticks around, but we're leaving his adventure in the mid-aughts, Jesus Christ, mid-'80s when he kind of gets put on a shelf until he becomes Cap's pilot for a while. Yep,
that's right.
Who was writing that? Who was that Grunwald?
Yeah, that's Grunwald, right? That wrote the Cap Wolf shit. Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and at some point we might visit that, but we are putting John's story on the shelf and taking a break, and then coming back in the summer for season 3 of Werewolf by Night, back to Jack Russell, which I'm kind of excited for, to be honest.
Oh, I'm really excited. I mean, I've really enjoyed the season. I've enjoyed spending some time with John Jameson, but Jack Russell's our guy.
Yeah,
and it's we need to get back.
Let's be honest. I mean, the Marvel premiere 45 and 46, that was when we blew our wad, artistically and creatively and enthusiastically. Everything else has just been kind of like sweeping up the spotlight, and that's why I'm so stoked for that Savage She-Hulk stuff, right? Because we're actually going back and someone's making that matter. So yeah, I feel like we're just kind of keeping the lights on here a little bit and just doing our due diligence, which is great. I'm all about the history.
Me too. And, we like to do things right. We like to do things thorough and chronological. So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man 189 that literally has one panel of the Man-Wolf.
But lots of Jonah.
Lots of Jonah. Man, maybe the underlying theme of this season is a complex character study of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, I remember like when Brand New Day happened and the aughts and stuff like that Jonah was more 3-dimensional and had a full life. But I'm trying to think, did anybody else really devote that much time to him before this Creatures on the Loose kind of thing? Was he still just a analog for Ditko to bitch about Stan Lee?
I mean, for the most part. I mean,
even though Stan Lee had no idea that he was writing himself.
Which is really the funniest thing, right? Is it a level of narcissism to where he knows but doesn't care, or literally was oblivious to the fact?
Oblivious.
Oh, that's so awesome. I would love to imagine that. It's great. Narcissists are weird.
Oh, they're awesome.
They're awesome, but they're weird.
So this issue, by the way, we last episode we said that it had a cover date of January 78, but that was actually kind of a miscue there because it was actually January 79. It was published in 78. The copyright bubble was 78. The indicia was 78, but it was pulled from the shelves, meant to be pulled from the shelves in 79 of January. So it crossed the new year.
Yeah, but I think we even decided, I think on air a long time ago, that we would just stick with cover dates, even though, hey, nerds, we get it. We know it's not the date it was published.
Yeah, but we were actually
we totally understand that.
No, but we were actually talking about what was going on with Marvel Premiere at that time, and it came up. I was actually listening to the last episode because it'd been so long since we'd had a substantive episode that I felt like I needed to get back on track. So it doesn't matter. Now this is February 79. And we got a cover by John Byrne with inks by Bob McLeod. And it's not classic by any means, but it's pretty solid. It's got Spidey crouching on the top of a building as a mummified figure is climbing out from a hospital room, holding an unconscious JJJ. And there's a little bit of back and forth here going on. The mummy says, "You're helpless, Jameson. Nothing can save you now." And Spidey's crouching above saying, "Want to bet, Bunky?" And a little porthole says in the bottom, "Who is the mystery menace?" But more importantly, up by the other box by the title, it says Marvel's TV sensation. So this was that brief period when there was the live action Spider-Man show with what's his name, Nicholas Hammond or something like that was the actor who played him.
That's right. And the issues of the Incredible Hulk at this time also say Marvel's TV sensation. So this was a whole thing. It comes up. Well, it confused me because later in the issue, it comes up to where he's like, oh, I got to talk about merchandising from all my stuff. And so I actually had to go back and read, like, what the fuck is he talking about? And so did you do the same thing?
I did not, but I reread everything from Ground Zero like 15 years ago. Wasn't his show part of the story?
Not at this point so far. So what he's talking about, Spider-Man in this issue will go on to talk about like, oh, I got merchandising deals and stuff. And it goes back to, I think, just a few issues before, maybe like 186 or 187, where he is at a press conference where he is cleared of the murder of Captain Stacy. Mm-hmm. And then like all the reporters and TV and everything, they're just like, oh, we love you now, Spider-Man. And we're trying to get him to get a TV deal. A guy who unsurprisingly looks a little bit like Stan Lee comes up and tries to get him on a TV show. And Spidey's like, no, you'll just screw it up and you'll have webs shooting out of my nose and stuff. And then a lady comes up and says like, well, we'd like to offer you a comic book deal. And he says, no, I gave my rights for free to the electric company to do a comic about me. And so, so confusingly, by this point, his electric company spots had stopped. But the Spidey Super Stories comic book was still going on. So, it gets really confusing. But back to what you said, the Marvel's TV sensation that is on this cover is talking about the live action Spider-Man, which lasted for 2 seasons and is pretty forgettable.
Yeah, and they cut a couple of those into like a feature film for theatrical distribution, which I don't know. I've tried to watch them. I have too. I know. Yeah. But you know what, Matt? Maybe you're right. Maybe it does become this meta thing to where it's actually a part in the issues after this. So yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like a kid in here says something like, not at all like he is on TV, and it's like this kind of wink, wink. Something.
Yeah, well, that's the first page of our issue here.
Okay, so before we move into that then, okay. I like the perspective here. This kind of, again, the bird's eye view looking down is always exciting when you're in, Gotham, the metropolis of New York City. And I love the lambent lunar light highlighting Spider-Man's lats and his shoulders and everything. Like it's super cool. It's an interesting cover. It's not great, but it's interesting. I might pull it off the shelf. It's weird. If you've been reading the previous issues, you kind of know who that is. This whole issue is kind of predicated on not knowing who that is, but you've already been told who it is, kind of. Yeah,
I know. The storytelling's a little weird in this.
It's a little muddled.
It is a little muddled, but honestly, I think that this cover looks more John Byrne than the art in the issue looks like John Byrne.
Yeah, the splash page was very John Byrne, and the rest of it's not at all, except for a few faces.
No, it's very Mooney. But let's jump in. Let's get to the opening page. So the title of our story is Mayhem by Moonlight, and the creators are Marv Wolfman, writer-editor, John Byrne and Jim Mooney, illustrators, Jim Novak letters, Glynis Ween colors, and Jim Shooter consulting editor. So Grand Comics Database lists Byrne as just doing the breakdowns and Mooney handling the finished art, which makes total sense to me because this looks way more Mooney than it does Byrne.
Yeah, that Ginger in the splash page, he's very Byrne, but
yeah, but the rest of the issue just looks, and Mooney's great. I'm not going to complain about Mooney. He's not my favorite by any means, but he's great. So Glynis Ween, née Oliver, was a prolific colorist who, did you know she colored over 140 issues of the X-Men?
Really? Did we not cover her in a previous?
I think we did before, yeah. But I didn't know if I had said exactly how many issues
you didn't say
she
that
had
fact.
done, which is crazy. She started with 113 and went all the way to like the Jim Lee 90s era.
Damn.
Like, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, so this splash page, like you say, it looks very John Byrne. Spidey is swinging through the city, kind of fretting about Aunt May, while the city folk have various opinions about him. Yeah, a very John Byrne faced kid reads, "Hey, Stanley, Stevie, look, it's Spider-Man. No, not the one from TV, the real one." So yeah, I mean, that has to be more of like a meta line about the TV show itself.
Well, also it's nods to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? I mean, like,
yeah, it is. So many winks.
I don't
nods.
normally like winks like that. Like,
I know.
Like when I read like modern Batman, like I hate when it's like, oh, down on Kane Avenue and Finger Road. It's like,
I fucking hate that too. I know.
Like,
I know.
Why are you pulling me out of this reality by paying homage to the people that came before? I hate it.
Yeah, it's like I didn't. I even kind of hated it in the final Moon Knight episode where it was like, wasn't it like Sienkiewicz mental ward or something?
I didn't even see that.
Like that. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I get it. I know you think you're doing fan service, but I don't know. We all know he was an artist on Moon Knight. Like, you don't need it. It just seems pandering in a weird way.
It seems like, really, really fucking amateurish to me. I feel weird saying that because
I know.
I love all the stuff, but like I grew up watching shitty zombie low budget movies that were made by people who loved the core makers of zombie films. So like whenever you watch something where it's the guys with plastic guns and like fake military outfits going, come on, Romero, Argento, come on, blah, blah, you know, like just like, I get it, guys. I get it. But it fucking pulls everyone out of the situation and says, that's right, I'm watching a zombie movie and this guy loves Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. Like it's just, it ruins it for me.
It does me too. And I think you brought up the best point, which is that it takes you out of the story. And it's weird. Like the longer I stay with characters that I love and the longer I read comics, longer I watch movies, the older I get, the less I like shit like that. I'm like, you're not doing anyone any favors. Like don't it? It's pandering and it's simple and kind of dumb.
It's weird it's cool that we have gone from 2008 Iron Man through to whatever now, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness of like, there was most of that time that Stan Lee made an appearance that stuck out like a turd in a punch bowl. And to the point where when you and I went with our wives or whatever in 2000, like, that's Stan Lee. He's kind of the official face of comics. And then by the time you get to like Age of Ultron or whatever, they're like, Renee's like, there's Stan Lee. Like, yeah, you know what? You've overplayed your hand now. My wife knows who you are. It's not funny anymore.
No, not like he was ever an obscure figure that you had to explain.
Well, he was to my wife and my daughter, but like,
I guess like an Iron Man 1 or something.
Right.
But
Tony stank.
Yeah. I know. But we don't have to deal with that anymore. So R.I.P.
Wow. That is grim shit.
That is some grim shit. So, back to the New Yorkers who are looking at Spidey swinging through the city. One of them says, I wonder which criminal he's after now. And then the other guy's like shaking his fist at the air saying, I don't care what the DA says. Spider-Man's a crook. So, we go back to, what we were talking about earlier, that there was a press conference when Spidey was cleared of all charges. And so now, he's not public enemy number one. So, people have a lot more varied opinions of the web slinger.
Yes. And so on page 2, I'm just going to kind of glide over this because some great art here. It starts off with this beautiful panel of Spidey swinging. We're above him looking down as he's way above the skyscrapers, swinging down over the traffic of New York. But his thought balloons are just essentially him covering the fact that, everything's pretty good right now. Like, if you know Peter Parker and in this era, he's kind of bipolar. And right now he's in a manic episode. His Aunt May has been really sick. He's been visiting her at the hospital. And now she's been placed in an assisted living, whatever kind of facility. And so he's going to the hospital to see her off to go to her new home. And he's just like super stoked about it. He lands on top of a bus. A very John Byrne looking man looks out angry like, he didn't pay his fare. And Pete's just sitting up there like, woo, everything's great, and he lands on a rooftop. He starts pulling his costume, his mask, and his shirt off, and you get a nice shot of him, a very burned face. Yeah, it's just him being stoked. Like everything's working out. That's all it is.
Yeah, he talks about in one panel, he says, and if I close a few deals for some Spidey merchandising, I'll be able to pay for anything. Which, of course, is Peter Parker's dream, is to not pinch pennies and worry about money.
Right.
So I do like that little inset panel on the bottom. Like, the art is really cool on this, on this page. I like the inset panel. I think his face is very John Byrne.
Yeah.
And I love that inset panel. It was really cool.
So all the draftsmanship on that page is just gorgeous. Like all the buildings, all the cool angles. Like,
it's awesome.
Nowadays you do a drone and you take a still from a drone. But back then, like, how do they get these shots? Like these references to do this stuff. It's gorgeous.
I don't know. It's really, really cool. Yeah. I mean, Byrne and Mooney do a great job on this. So on the next page, I don't want to make light of a serious situation. And I know that this is like a big part of why the character of Spider-Man works. But man, I kind of check out during Pete and May scenes at this point. I'm just like, yeah, I get it. No. I mean, Aunt May's the best. She's going to tell him to keep fighting and that she's fine. And he's going to worry and kind of cry.
Buckwheat cakes.
And yeah, he's going to eat some wheat cakes and then he's going to, yeah, I know. So yeah, like you said, she's being transferred to a nursing home. Yeah, and the bottom, I kind of liked the bottom 3 panels of the ambulance, like taking her away slowly, and it just kind of repeats, the profile of Pete. I thought that was pretty cool. But of course, he's just like, man, when they made her, they broke the mold. There'll never be anyone like Aunt May again. I know, I feel like an asshole, like making light of this. But I think when you see it this many times, maybe I'm just feeling particularly hardened tonight, but I'm just like, yeah, we get it. I know you love May. I know she's always on death's door. I get it. Like, I totally get it.
I'm with you.
Really? I mean, so I'm not being an asshole?
No, you're being an asshole, but
okay, good.
No, I understand. Like it's a piece of fruit that has a finite amount of juice. And
oof, man,
we're looking back on this from like decades on of like, this kept going, by the way.
Oh, it totally did. But still, we're on issue 189 of Spider-Man. So, I mean, I would think that at some point, this is starting to get a little
She almost
old.
Married Otto Octavius. Like, I mean.
She did. Thank you, Jerry Conway. She almost did. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I think it gets a little more interesting on the next page, though, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, he's actually moved to tears, like thinking about, I can't imagine my life without Aunt May and blah, blah. And this doctor, like, if you haven't been following the storyline, I remember this back from like when I reread this like 15 years ago. Like, this doctor hated fucking Pete. He had a hate on for Pete because Pete is always flaky because of his curse, which I call a gift curse. It's a curse.
Oh, wow.
See, I just took that. This is my gift. This is my curse.
You did. You squeezed a diamond out of that piece.
So this guy hates Peter because he thinks Pete's a 21-year-old fucking flake who like shows up occasionally when he's heard that May has had a mini stroke or something like that. So he comes out and sees Pete wiping his tears. He's like, well, there goes one problem out of your life, Parker. I'll bet you're relieved. You'll never have to visit that dear woman again. And Pete just like, what? You sniveling little jerk. And he just snaps. I love Rage Pete. And he picks the dude up by his fucking tie and lifts him up over his head. I don't care if you are, doctor. How dare you talk to me that way? This woman means the world to me. I love her more than anything I do. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, what? He thinks, what? My spider strength, I could have snapped this guy's spine without even thinking twice. So he just kind of puts the dude down and runs off. And there's this great panel of him in the distance and a cone of street lamp light just bolting off. And the doctor's in the foreground holding his neck like, I'll be nursing these neck pains for weeks. And so Pete goes into an alley and gets his Spidey suit on. He's like, I'm a Class A jerk myself. Without thinking, I almost killed him. And just because he doesn't like me. So he's like, I got to clear my head. I got to get up in the, up in the skyscrapers.
Yeah. And so, but on the next page, we switch focus to Jonah and the Bugle. Jonah is bullying his staff into finding John, saying, pry loose information regarding my son's kidnapping or get in the line at the unemployment office. And so, he slams down the phone and says to Robbie, who just comes in, these reporters today, they're all useless. He's like, they're trying their best, Jonah. He's like, who asked you, Robertson? What have you dug up? Like Robertson says, word from the street is whoever kidnapped John has it in for both you and Spider-Man. So Jonah's like, I knew that masked misfit mixed up in this. And he's like, no, Jonah, that's not what I said. Our Mr. X wants both of you out of the way. He's like, Jonah, for your protection, I'm calling in a bodyguard. Jonah's like, you're not my mother. And then he just, runs off. I love just the violent swing of emotions that everyone has in this issue. It's at least entertaining.
It's a maelstrom.
Yeah, it really is. And he's like, he runs off, and Robbie's like, where are you going? He's like, none of your business. Do your job. He's like, butt out. And he runs off. And then that last panel, we see Spidey swinging down, and he sees something going on. He sees a bunch of cop cars, and he's like, the police sure seem agitated. Something must be brewing. Good, I could use some action.
I do like that middle panel. That's a wide horizontal one. Just a green background, but I like the art in it.
I do too.
The depth of Jonah to Robbie, and I don't know. This issue did really well with portraying the relationship. It comes up later too, but just they have a very sweet, intimate relationship that they don't acknowledge.
No, totally.
It's highly keeps them both highly functional, even though Jonah's very dysfunctional.
He is, but no, you're right. And the art really does convey that really well in this issue. It's one of the best things about this issue.
Yeah, totally. So on the next page, Pete's swinging along following this cop car who's responding to a call. And he's like, something's been bugging me. Like the Chameleon, I busted him a few issues ago, and he was saying he was paid to humiliate me. And then Electro knocked out that power grid and blah, blah. And he's like, something's going on. And then we get this panel, this cool panel that's all black and blue and a little bit of white. And it's a figure shrouded in shadow in a trench coat, pointing to who we know is John Jameson, right? I mean, this is not a mystery.
I wouldn't supposed to be
so. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't tell if I'm spoiling something, but it's like this really cool, profile in highlight of a mummified figure in an alleyway, and a guy that looks kind of like Captain Stacy pointing out a way and saying, there he is. Remember what he looks like. It is your task to slay Spider-Man. At the very moment J. Jonah Jameson dies as well. So we have a plan. This mystery person, this is the person. Like we talked last episode about was that Jigsaw's henchman or was it Electro's? It's this guy's henchman who stole John Jameson. We don't know why or who he is yet, though. And so we cut to Jonah visiting his current flame, Marla Madison, a scientist, and she basically hasn't seen him for a while. She's been in her lab, and he's like, John was kidnapped, and he breaks down and gets really upset. And he says, why does everything bad happen to me? Lord knows I've been a good man. I've given this city everything. And what have I gotten in return? Nothing but scorn and humiliation. His head's, bowed down. And now the final blow, the crashing defeat, the one who means the most to me in all the world, gone.
Yeah. Jonah running the gamut of emotion he has in the last, he has all season, really. I mean, we've only seen just the completely emotionally wrecked Jonah, just going from crying to rage to bargaining, It's just
the 7 stages of werewolf loss.
Yeah, it really is. But on the next page, I love this this first row of panels. They're actually kind of powerful. So it's Marla hands Jonah a monogrammed cup of coffee. I was like, oh wow. She's a scientist, but she's also classy as fuck and has her own monogrammed china. Hands him a cup of coffee. And Jonah says, ever since Joan died, I've been mother and father to him. Now this, Lord, now this. What do I do, Marla? Scream, cry? How would that help find John? Why do I feel so alone, Marla? What do I do now? What, blast it, what? And so, and it's nice. The point of view is kind of turning in each panel of this 4-panel sequence, and then the final panel is just Marla holding Jonah. There's like a shaft of light that comes down. It's a panel that's colored all just in blue and black and white, and it's really powerful. Very cool. It probably is my vote for the best panel of the issue. Honestly,
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, really, really, really cool. So again, we just get a lot of good character work and character study of the real J. Jonah Jameson, not the bluster, not the guy chomping a cigar in the Bugle's offices, but the real man. And that does, it makes his character better, makes his character more valuable. So I'm all for that. I love the lifting that's been done on his character in this whole run.
Me too. It's a clear highlight for me of the season so far.
For sure. So yeah, we switch then to Spidey. He's looking in on the situation, sees the cop cars. He's like, since the cops aren't busting down doors, he's probably got himself a hostage. Maybe I better lend a webbed hand. And so, he smashes through the window of this hostage situation, practicing his tight five like he always does. And he's just like, hello, look what we have here. Bozo the Clown lives. And the guy with a ski mask on is like, Spider-Man. I was like, that's the name, sockhead. Want my autograph? These days, you only have to trade 2 of them to get 1 of Thor's. Hey, these are jokes, Sock. Laugh it up. So yeah, he's manic again. Like when Spider-Man gets manic jokes, I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah, he sounds like Rodney Dangerfield.
He does. I'm like, oh, this kid's fucked up in the head.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. It's like this is a sporting goods store where this guy's, he has a pantyhose mask on, like Raising Arizona. And in the foreground of this last panel, there's a Daiwa fishing reel. Like it's a photo stat of the actual logo of Daiwa.
It's a product placement 100%.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, who would be in charge at this point? I'm like, of like the Marvel special projects. Is that still Sol Brodsky, or has he passed that over to someone else? I was reading, I think it was in the new I think it was the new back issue. They talked about like Marvel special projects and the guy that would write a lot of these weird like variants that were like tie-ins, like Captain America's in Philadelphia, and like just stuff that would be sold in that market. And our favorite David Kraft ended up writing a lot of those. That was one of his jobs that he did at Marvel, was all these weird little tie-ins, like area specific tie-ins, like city or I don't know if it's Captain America fights the cavity creeps kind of stuff.
It felt really weird. I mean, it's clearly like they were given an asset from the company and stuck it in the foreground. Like it's a sticker.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. So
like then I start thinking like, so is that the only reason that Spider-Man is that the only reason this is taking place in a sporting goods store? Like, did they get $500 to just stick this logo in an issue? Like, I just started tripping out on this.
Yeah, is John Byrne getting notes?
Yeah.
He's like, well, something's got to happen in a sporting goods store, buddy. That's comics for you.
And by the way, what that great scene with Jonah, the first part of this page, like that is the first time Joan was named. We've never met Jonah's wife.
Oh, is that really the first time?
I looked it up.
Wow, that's amazing.
She's in this issue, according to like the Marvel Wiki official thing, and some like thing like in 2000 something where it's like Spider-Man 0 whatever, where she's like married to him and young.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she had 2 appearances.
Wow.
And one in name only.
I'm going to crack a beer to that.
Spidey pops into the sporting goods store. And also some like SWAT team moves in and say, don't move, Lupus, down with the gun. And then the other cop says, Jack, look, it's Spider-Man. And the hostage holder's like, huh? Cops? Spider-Man? What's going on here? With a gun to an old man's head. A weird scene. And so, Spidey's cracking wise, like, this is your surprise party, happy boy. And we're all here to watch you celebrate. And he kind of grabs the old man and throws him down, and the cops are shooting and just kind of goes crazy, and they wing the dude Lupus in the shoulder, and Spidey's like, good shot, mister. He's like, hey, who asked you, masked man? Someone could have gotten himself killed because you butted in here. Get moving, clown, before I run you in too, and leave this work for trained professionals. As Spidey's climbing up the wall like, yeah, I love you too. Wow, I really blew that, didn't I? So his weird bipolar pendulum is now on the next page fully swung back to, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I know. It just
Eeyore.
Yeah, he does turn into Eeyore. Yeah, on the next page, he realizes he screwed up, and walks along a rooftop, crestfallen, pretty typical Peter. It's being like, "Face it, Webhead, you're a loser." And then we switch back to Jonah, who is now at the offices of the district attorney. And he's just chewing out the DA for not doing more to find John. And the DA's like, "I don't like repeating myself, Jameson. Everything's being done to find your missing son." And Jonah's like, "You couldn't find your way out of House of Glass. I'll find my son Tower my way."
Yeah, what's his name?
Tower.
Blake?
DA Blake Tower.
What? Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But then I love the next two panels just show what Jonah does when he, takes matters into his own hands. It says, later that day, Jameson's plan becomes apparent as posters are pasted up all over town. And so there's reward posters. I like on the reward poster for John, Jonah's in the picture too.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. I'm surprised he's not up front with like John in the background.
With an arrow. Yeah, but it's like, it's pre-staple gun. Like it's the old brush glue. Like,
oh, brush glue. You're right. Oh, man. Yeah. And then we see on the following panel that he's also bought a ton of TV time. Television spots are purchased. And it's just a bunch of Jonahs on television saying $1 million reward for any information leading to the location of my son, astronaut John Jameson, which does up the ante a little bit. It's he's not a normal guy. He's a fucking astronaut.
Yeah.
So says by evening, the news has been heard by virtually everyone in the city, and dreams of avarice overtake reality. And then it's like a bunch of crooks just like being crooks, like talking amongst themselves. One of them says, 1 mil, geez, for that kind of bread, I'll go straight. It's like, come on, spread the word and let's start listening. Maybe there's word on the grapevine. What the fuck?
This array of criminals is the funniest group of dudes. It's like from left to right. It's like Senator, porn job, Mr. Fister. I just like, they're like most random group of dudes. One dude looks like he's a senator, like deep throat senator.
Yeah. That's Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his porn name. Like for the, you can't
Mr.
buy this
Fister?
porn in shops. This is like mail order only porn.
Okay. Yeah. And then I like the guy in the,
Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
I'm also a porn star. I'm Steve Rogers.
Oh man. Yeah, it's really, really funny. The final guy being like, you can't pull off this kind of heist without someone knowing the truth. So Jonah's reward has gotten the underworld a buzzing,
which is smart.
Yeah,
right?
it is smart. I mean, say what you want about Jonah, but this is the way to do it if you got the money. But if anyone really believes that he would pay $1 million, even if someone delivered John with a bow, like to the Bugle offices, Jonah would still not pay them anything.
Yeah, even with a giant lollipop in his hand.
Yeah.
And the first panel, the next page, kind of supports that. Like you get this beautiful John Byrne grin of like him, his feet up on his desk in his office, watching himself on the news, his bit playing, his paid bit, and he's saying, I'm offering 1 million. And Robbie says, "Hey, Jonah, you free?" He's like, "Come on in, Robbie. Pull up a chair. Listen to this tape. If it doesn't get action fast, every 2-bit hood will be scurrying about to find my son." And so he's like, plenty of publicity and it's all tax deductible. So he's still Jonah.
Yeah, he's still Jonah. He's chomping on a cigar now.
So I got to kind of cover this rest of this page here. I think I need to cover because it's good. It's good character building stuff. So Robbie says, Jonah, something came over the wire you should see. A plutonium shipment was stolen out of a New York laboratory. You want to feature it? Or he's like, plutonium, eh? I'm getting an idea, Robbie. Have Drake over in Science work out a series on this. Play up the facts the cops can't safeguard the city from nuclear waste. We'll front page it right under the banner about my son. I told Tower he'd regret playing fancy with Jonah Jameson. So he's immediately politicizing his son's tragedy. He's turning on the cops because they're not working for him in the capacity he wants. Like, this is a very telling Jonah.
Yeah.
And this last panel here at the bottom is even more telling about their relationship, because Robbie leaves. It says, Joe Robertson nods and quietly leaves. The article will be prepared, but blame will not be shifted to the police. The city editor knows that despite his boss's seeming thick-headedness, Jonah is a fair man, and perhaps the best newspaper publisher the city ever had. Just as Jameson knows that Robbie will quietly listen to his tirades and then print what is best and what is truth. For Joe Robertson, too, is the best, and Jonah knows how lucky he is to have him. Just a nice little kind of like pull yourself out of the moment and just see like JJJ knows he's not going to do it. He's venting. And he knows that his friend is a shield who's going to absorb that and go, yeah, we're not running that.
Yeah.
Like, I just love that like sweetness, anytime they build like these relationships behind the scenes, I love it.
And I love that, because they're guys, it's unsaid.
Yeah.
Like they just know.
Yeah. If they hugged in modern times, it'd be that shoulder to shoulder weird hug.
Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable hug. So next page we cut to a secret lab where Jonah is on the TV giving his spiel about the reward, and then we get a full mad scientist rant on this page where his face is obscured, the entire time. And he's just like, I despise Jameson. He ruined my life, corrupted me. Now I sit here twisted, hateful, and dying. So he's dying. So that's a new fact. We see a large, fully bandaged man, obviously John, who he then puts into a machine. He says, you look weak. Quickly now, into the Energizer. You must be in perfect shape, my friend, or else the vengeance I seek will hardly be sweet. So puts him in this Energizer. Then he says, hold still while I inject the special radiation trace into you. It will come quite handy when I activate it. And so, then he goes, activates all of his shit. And it's like, good, rest. Well, my weary and obedient slave, tonight we shall venture forth and destroy my enemies. And very, very typical mad scientist rant and page. But really good art.
Yeah, good art, but yeah, I mean, it has that whole Austin Powers thing, right? Where there's just some things conveniently covering the penis, but the penis is his face. Like, I know. You never quite see who this is. So, do you have guesses?
I don't actually.
What's been fun is that we've been not reading ahead. So, like, do you know who this is? Or
no, I don't. I honestly don't. I have not read the next issue. Did you guess? And were you right?
I have a guess.
Okay.
I will. It'll be revealed next issue, huh?
I mean, probably. I would assume so. Because we just have one more issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and then we go straight into Savage She-Hulk. So, I mean, hopefully he's revealed next issue.
I'm trying to think which scientists are in Peter Parker's life that hate J. Jonah Jameson or have a connection to him. All I can think of is the Smythe family.
So that would be who created the Spider Slayer, correct? Yeah, that's what I would assume. So
I can't think of who else it would be.
Because isn't that how he originally met Marla?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
She is, I think, like the ex-wife of like Alistair or somebody.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just assuming that just because it makes sense and it's kind of boring. So I'm like, that must be what it is.
Okay. So on the next page we get some deep cut Spidey behind the scenes stuff we don't need to really see, right? I mean, like, nope. He's been kind of dating Betty Brant again, which has not happened since way back in the Ditko days. So she is separated from Ned Leeds, and she's come to his apartment and is like, hey, I think we should give this a try. And he's like, I feel weird about this. And they kiss, and he's like, please, Betty. She's like, shut up, darling, and kiss me. And he's like, and then there's a double word balloon that says,
double word balloon kissing noise. Wow. This is adult.
So there's some great, this whole page actually has great like romance art from
it really does.
Burn Mooney, but we don't need to talk about it much.
Not really. No.
But Pete's into it. I think he wants to go to like to find MJ in like England or something like that. She's on a gig or something like that. But he's like all of a sudden like, well, I could stay here.
Yeah. So on the next page, Spider-Man sees a figure climbing up a building, to which he says, "Some joker is stealing my copyright." And then the bandaged man, who is climbing up the building, smashes into the offices of the Daily Bugle and grabs Jonah. And Spidey then swings in, saying, "Maybe he's looking for your autograph, Smiley. You do know how to write, don't you?" And Jonah says, "What in blazes are you here for?" He says, "Take it easy, pork face," which is his latest nickname for Jonah, which came up a couple issues ago as well. I think when I was pre-reading some of the earlier stuff. Yeah, wow. It's a new one. And "Take it easy, pork face. I just want to rescue you." And then he just gets creamed and just flies out the window after being hit by this bandaged man, saying, "Wow."
So this seemed to me, the bandaged man breaking through Jonah's office or whatever, like this is very reminiscent of ASM 124 or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, isn't this a callback to the first appearance of Manwolf?
Pretty much. He's just going to King Kong it. And,
he just didn't have bandages on.
No. Yeah, I know. It's basically just a repeat.
But like, I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
it's kind of cool.
I thought it was kind of a callback. Maybe it's not. But I mean, at this point, it's like 6 years earlier, right?
Yeah, I guess that has been a while.
Yeah, I love when he hits him and Spider-Man flies out the window just directly, just straight back. Hilarious.
Yeah.
So he does the Spidey thing where he's like, "Oh, there's a flagpole. I'll do my little thing." And he does a wah, 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 wah around. Meanwhile, in Jonah's office, the bandaged man has grabbed Jonah and Jonah says, "What do you want from me? Money? I'll give you anything. 100? How about 2? Good heavens, man. What do you want?"
I love it.
And Spidey swings back in through the broken glass window and kicks the bandaged man in the back. Says, "Jonah, you're so generous he says, "Jonah, you're so generous with your money. You make me puke. You make Scrooge look like the Ford Foundation. I'd have let Gozface play basketball with your head. Maybe it'll knock some sense into you." And Jonah's like, "You wouldn't dare." I love that he's still responding to chiding from Spider-Man while a mummy is trying to kill him. And Spidey jumps onto the back of the mummy's neck and has wrapped his legs around him and is punching him in the back of the head. And he says, "Come off it, Wimbag. After what you've said about me, I should start making side bets on how many seconds you've got left. Hey, you're supposed to fall down. Haven't you read the script?" And he's just punching this character in the back. And he actually goes through the wall into the typist pool of secretaries, Crunk. And they're like, "Ah!" And one secretary says, "You hear that? Jameson must be chewing out another report. Oh my goodness." Another lady says, "That's it. I quit. Mama always said I should be a dancer and not a secretary."
I'd like to think that those are the only 2 jobs. Just those 2.
According to Marvel Comics, you can be a stripper or a secretary.
Oh, man. Yeah, even though I do love the art in that last panel. Like, I love the faces. You're right. Like, a lot of the faces are really burned. Yeah. But everything else is moony. And honestly, I'm not complaining. Like, I actually feel like the story is pretty slight in this issue. And the art is really good, even in just the most boring of story pages. Like, the art is really good.
Yeah. I'm still in the pork face.
Yeah, you can't get over pork face.
Nope. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, so the next page, the bandaged man runs up the stairs. Pete chases after him, making a Bruce Jenner joke. And there's just so many references. Mm-hmm. Then Spidey follows him across the rooftops. Jonah kind of yells at him like, "That webhead weasel's getting him. Maybe they can knock off each other. But if Spider-Man loses, then that character will come back for me." So yeah, Jonah doesn't quite know what to say. His face is really bizarre in that panel too.
Yeah.
Like right as I was saying, all the faces are great. And that one just looks weird.
Sal Buscema thing.
It is a Sal Buscema thing. And then Yeah, we end with a really cool panel of the two of them, Spidey and the mummy man, smashing into a pigeon coop, and all these pigeons are flying. And the sound effect is bzzack, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So every roof legally has to have a pigeon coop, right?
Damn right.
In New York.
I've seen Ghost Dog.
I was going to say, I've seen Ghost Dog, and that's about it.
I knew we were going to be on the same page with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, they're struggling on the rooftop, and the bandage man throws Spider-Man off, but he quickly webs a cot between two rooftops of webbing and uses it as a trampoline and bounces back up and does a power punch into the bandage man, crack, and says, both hands, and he merely stumbles back. And then we see a shot of them fighting on a rooftop from down on the street level. And in the foreground, we see that same shadowy figure saying, "Now, you fool, squash Spider-Man," into a walkie-talkie. The longer you play with him, the greater his chances of survival. But we cut back to the rooftop, and in the last panel, Pete, or Spider-Man, is tearing the bandages off of the bandaged man's face. It says, "Maybe I can't knock out my oversized playmate, but I can certainly see what makes him tick." And he tears the bandages off. "All right, handsome, let's see your award-winning face." And the figure in the foreground with the bandages being torn off his face says, "Growl." And it's just a solid orange background.
Yeah, I know. That's the only, I don't know. That was a weird disappointment, like art-wise, actually. I don't know. The solid orange background didn't work for me, but the art on the rest of this page is fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, okay, we know what the reveal is, and now we're on our last page. And we see Spidey saying, "You, of course, it had to be." Then he gets slammed against the wall, passes out. Then we see Jonah on the phone screaming, "I said I wanted the police, you incompetent moron, the police." And he says, "No, you dolt, not the Polish ham company." Police. I'm just like, is that a race thing? Is this some kind of like shitty, is this a shitty joke? Is this like a joke I should be kind of offended by? But then Jonah's like, "Yeah, well, the same to you, fella." And then he gets grabbed from behind and a squeeze. It says, "Massive hands crush Jameson in a powerful grip. Then carry him limply off as if he were nothing more than a rag doll." And then, we see the one panel we get this issue with Man-Wolf in it. And suddenly we see that it's Man-Wolf carrying his father, Jonah. And it says, "And all the while, J. Jonah Jameson never knows that his attacker happens to be John Jameson, his own son, now in the body of the Man-Wolf." And then at the bottom of the page says, "Next issue, a deadly chase through Manhattan, and 4 lives hang in the balance. You must be here for On the Trail of the Man-Wolf." And that's our issue.
Yeah, that's our issue.
Yeah, oof.
So it's kind of weird to jump into a mid Spider-Man title with a bunch of, ongoing threads and have those being wrapped up or moving on. And I don't know.
I know.
It was like the art was solid.
Yeah, it's definitely solid art.
Storytelling visually and otherwise was solid. It just felt very middle of an arc. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I just think that in the Man-Wolf saga that we have been following this season, the climax of the arc is like you said, it's Otherworld, it's Marvel Premiere. And so if we were in a screenwriting class, we would get an F, because
this is regression.
It's just like, this is regression. Because then suddenly we're like, "Oh my God, the Star God." And it's like, nope, he's just a mindless werewolf, King Kong and his father up a building. Like, fuck. It just, it's going back. It's
literally to where we
regression.
came from.
It's literally regressing
Paul
to the
McCartney
very
would love
beginning.
it, but I don't know if I will.
Yeah. No, it's disappointing. So, we're going to hold our noses. We're going to get through this next issue of ASM, and then we're going to get to some fine David Kraft Otherworld greatness in Savage She-Hulk 13 and 14. We're going to have some great guests to accompany us on our journey for those issues. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. Do you want to preview those guests, or is it a secret?
I don't think it's a secret. I think we're going to have, it's Brad first, right? We're going to have Brad Elmore for 13, and then we're going to have Michelle from Moonlight Comics for 14. Two of our most popular guests.
Yeah.
I think our two most popular guests.
Yeah. Beloved.
Yeah. Very beloved. So yeah, we're really excited for that. I'd love to have their insights on the issue. And yeah, I knew Brad would hold it against us forever if he didn't get to come on for an issue where Man-Wolf was the star god.
Yeah, and this whole thing was a tragic misstep here. This Marvel Team Up / ASM little jog here. We were doing it to be completists. I was doing it to be completist. I could have just. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't skip over these. I couldn't do it because of my anal tenderness.
And I love you. I would have completely skipped over these, but I love you enough to be like, no, this makes Matt feel better. This makes my partner in life and in podcast feel better.
Good.
This makes him sleep easier at night. So I'm all in it with you, buddy. I'm there.
Okay. Well, I love you too, and I appreciate your whatever flexibility and understanding. I'm glad this will be over.
Yep, it's going to be over in just one more issue of ASM. Then we get 2 kick-ass issues. Then we get 2 kind of weird slight issues. And then we get our
send-off.
Big send-off episode. Then we take a couple weeks off. Then we are back with more Jack Russell.
Can I tell you something weird?
I'm here for it.
Okay, so I was stoked. I looked ahead just to the first page of the next issue. All right.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. John Byrne layouts, Jim Mooney finishes. I'm cool with this art team. But what I was surprised to see was that John Byrne, an artist that I madly respect, and Jim Mooney I have great respect for, they draw that face on that splash page. That's what's used on that Marvel Premiere 46, that hideous. Remember we were saying it looks like a phantasm monster?
Yeah.
That's Byrne Mooney. That's where they
Weird.
got that face from. That weird
That
gnome shriveled dwarf face.
That was in the corner box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up, man. I don't like
That's
to hear
Byrne
that.
and Mooney on the
I don't
splash
like to
page
hear
of the
that.
next issue, showing Man-Wolf climbing out of the window, holding onto his father, unconscious.
Not fucking cool.
Not cool, right?
No, that's disappointing.
So, yeah. I don't know what to say.
I know. Well, we're moving forward. That's what we do.
It's weird talking about a Spider-Man issue, like MTU, I get it, where it's like, it's Saturday morning nonsense, but like this is a flagship book and it was just okay.
It's a flagship book. It's a character that you love more than any other, honestly.
Yeah. My all-time favorite superhero.
And if you are if you're middling on this issue, then yeah, the job is not being done properly at this point.
I would love to know like what the conversations were in the editorial meetings, like why this happened. Like there was literally another story. They canceled the book, brought it back around this time to wrap up loose ends, and yet still said, but we should probably do like 3 more issues, and they should be basically retelling the first appearance. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but I think it makes more sense when you realize that the commodity of Spider-Man in 1978-79, which is, he's coming off of the high-profile Electric Company spots, going into a live action primetime series, and I feel like they're not like they're dumbing down for the masses a bit at this point, because
retelling because there were no collections back then. So, are you just saying like they were just kind of keeping the character and his type alive essentially by just going like, Spider-Man has this Man-Wolf guy that is around, and now that Spider-Man's got a TV show and he's on Electric Company and he's got Spidey Super Stories, let's keep him in the consciousness. So he's just kind of like an Electro or a Shocker or whatever. Like you just got to kind of retell the story every once in a while to keep kids in, or what are you saying?
Yeah, I think that, but I think also it's bringing back Man-Wolf as a Spider-Man villain, basically, just to have in the Rogues Gallery.
Oh, okay.
So that he can be used as a property for the TV show. He can be used as a property. Well, the Electric Company spots are done at this point, but
the TV show, he'd be a cheap property, right?
Yeah, he'd be a cheap property. Yeah, they just go to the Universal archives and get the fucking masks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I feel like it's that they're trying to play the long game and giving themselves a lot of options, because they're probably feeling really good about the TV show at this point, being like, we're going to go for 20 seasons. Like we need so much stuff. And no, they don't, because it sucks.
Okay.
So
no, that makes sense to me when you frame it that way. It's like, okay, imagine if there was a Flash TV show in the late 70s and it's like Mirror Master. Like we gotta do another one where he's introducing the fact that he works in mirrors because mirrors cost nothing. So we're definitely going to put him in our show. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to hope that this isn't a reaction to the awesome Otherworld story of Kraft and Perez, but maybe it's just like, we went in that weird way and it didn't fucking work. So let's reestablish him as just a universal monster movie horror guy and a Spider-Man villain. Let's just solidify that shit.
Well, I bet that Power Records thing came out probably within a year of this, right?
I was thinking that too. So it's just, they're kind of, they're making sure that Man-Wolf is established enough just in case he takes off, which God bless him for thinking that he was going to take off, but
Yeah. It's hard for me not to think of this like when you frame it the way you just did, like, isn't this kind of like Capital being like, wow, Brian, this Pet Sounds thing is very ambitious. We like it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put out the best of the Beach Boys at the same time. No, but we have complete confidence in your new direction. But Barbara Ann's, everybody loves Barbara Ann. Come on.
Yeah, who doesn't love Barbara Ann? And
it feels like that. It's like undercutting, undermining of like, just in case you thought this was any momentum this could have had. Cars, surfing.
Yeah, cars and surfing. Mike Love says it works. So
mummies and werewolves stealing people and climbing like King Kong. It's literally like the most basic tropes of monster shit.
Literally the most basic.
After making him the most complex monster they've ever had.
I think that's actually a really great analogy. It is. Yeah. Marvel is Capitol Records at this point.
Yeah.
Being like, yep, best of the Beach Boys. Here you go.
Fuckers.
Bet it's going to outsell Pet Sounds and Smiley Smile. So, yeah.
Oh boy. Well,
all right. Well, let's call this episode. And we did good. We kept it engaged. We kept it short. That's what we're going to do with these issues. We're going to do it next episode. We'll try and keep it fun, and then we'll move on to some actual good shit and spend some time going through it, because Mr. David Kraft will have been the author of it.
Yes.
So, and that makes us excited. Let's look forward to the future.
Yes. So for our bonus episode this week, we're going to talk about the new Doctor Strange film. So, here's a heads up. It's spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe hold off. But we're going to fully talk about that movie because Jacob saw it today or yesterday.
I saw it yesterday.
And I saw it this weekend. And I'm so excited to talk about it with somebody who's seen it. So that's our bonus episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it and then check out the episode.
That's right. And if you want to see any of our bonus content, you can always go to patreon.com/werewolf-by-night podcast and subscribe, even at the most basic of tiers. Well, the most basic of tiers is basically a tip jar of $1. And then you got $3.
Well, you get, it's a tip jar with art. You get the
that's right.
Cell phone art.
That's right. You get the great art that we commissioned of
James Edward Clark
James Edward Clark and of Werewolf by Night and Man-Wolf. And then, we have two other tiers, one at $3 and one at $5. And for both of those, really, you get you get access to all the bonus material and the video material that Matt so lovingly edits.
Yep. But if you are at the $5 level, you are in the pack and you get shout outs like, I don't know, like this.
So now we'd like to give a shout out to our Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters that support us on the highest tier on Patreon. Fine folks such as Michael G.,
Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Josh Link,
Jeff Fitzpatrick,
Caleb,
Ben M.,
Michelle from Moonlight Comics,
Mark Nivens,
Rob Haferman,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Eric Hadley,
Brad L. Moore,
Johnny Turner,
Jackson T. Overstreet,
Tony Iupi,
Jared C.,
Brink.
and Ryan from across the Bifrost.
Thanks for the support, folks. All right, well, thank you for joining us this week, listeners. Till we meet again beneath the full moon for everyone's Here's Howlin' At Ya.